Hey guys, welcome back to Freddy's Modern Kung Fu. By the way, do you guys like my white Christmas tree that I decorated? And these little stockings, pretty cool. This is our Christmas 2013. Anyways guys, I haven't been doing videos lately because I've just been really tired, really lazy, and I'm just really overwhelmed every single day. And Freddy's like, you're complaining being tired, you're tired all the time. Well, I am tired all the time. So I'm back guys. I know my fans totally miss me. Totally cool.
She looks hot.
Oh, shut up, Freddy. And okay, so today I want to talk about Cheapskate, right?
Yeah. Cheapskate.
Okay, it's really funny. It's like, it's not on YouTube, but they do have it on Netflix. And is it just called Cheapskate? And that's
Extreme
it?
Cheapskate.
The documentary is called Extreme Cheapskate. Okay, it's hilarious. It's almost like a comedy show, but it's like real life funny stuff. It's I know Freddie did a video earlier. I didn't watch his video yet. So I'm just making my own video now. And it's just a shocking documentary. I'm just watching it the whole time with my mouth, with my jaw dropped open every time. It's really funny, and I'm just like so in shock, like how far people go. And it's coming to my realization why people go so far that they do go. It's just like, if you watch it, you'll understand what I'm talking about, you know. And I'll just give some examples that just kind of triggered like this craziness in my head, and it just makes me so angry sometimes, you know. It's just like, people are crazy. Like, for example, some of there's different episodes. There's a lot of episodes, okay? So it's with different families. Okay, so for example, this one man, he's like so cheap that like leftovers at restaurants, any public place that he finds food, and he'll even like dumpster dive also, like dive into the dumpster and look for food, you know, or anything he can find that he'll eat. So when he goes to restaurants, public places, any leftover foods that people had left, and where they're done eating, they'll leave the table, he'll go and take food from people's tables that have leftover plates of food. He'll eat those on site, or he'll take it with him as well. Even when people are still eating and dining in, and they're still eating their food, and they leave aside a plate of food while they're eating something else, he'll actually go up to them. If he really wants that food item, he'll go up to them and ask, you know what, if you're gonna toss it out, I'll take it, I'll take it. But I guess some people are just so irritated and so in shock that they'll just give him their food just so he'll leave them alone. It's kind of like that. And it's just like so much. And when I think about it, I'm like, if you're so cheap, then why are you fat? If you're so cheap, then why are you so overweight? Because that man was really, he's a pretty tall man, but he was pretty overweight as well. He had a huge pot belly, and the gross thing about him the most was his skin. I mean, what you eat is what you get. You know what I mean? And he'll eat anything. Like when he was out on an anniversary with his wife, you know, instead of ordering something healthy, they would go to a fast food, right? And you should see the food that they were ordering was French fries, humongous hot dogs, and just fast food, nothing but fast food. It was such unhealthy processed foods, right? And not only that he eats that stuff, and his wife, but his skin was so inflamed. It was gross. Just by looking his physical appearance and his face and his skin, you could tell that he's got a lot of health issues, like a lot of internal inflammation in his organs that's going to trigger health problems after health problems. He could probably even be developing cancer, not even know it, or he does have cancer, who knows. But this man's skin is so gross that I'm like, man, look at what you're eating. And you know, and it's just and that same man that I just mentioned, the worst that he did was when he went for ice cream sampling. Like he'll go to this like Dairy Queen place, but I don't think it was Dairy Queen, it was like a different ice cream shop, you know. And so he went to I'm not sure if it was like a drive-through or whatever it was, but they went to this order window, right? So he's like, I want to sample your ice cream so I can figure out what I want. So after the first, second, third, he's like, okay, you've already had 3 samples. Aren't you going to order something? And then the man responds, how do I know what to order if I don't know what I like? So what turned out was he sampled up to 14, yes, 1-4. He sampled up to 14 ice cream samples, okay, while his wife is standing there, okay, with him. And then he's like, you know what, I'm full. He still had several cups in his hand with the ice cream samples. And it's like, you know what, I'm full. And then he walks off. And the man said, you're not going to order any? And then and then he just didn't care. He had no remorse, no embarrassment whatsoever, and he just, and his wife was pissed, was really angry at him for not ordering and for doing that. But you know what, I'll get to his wife in a moment because she is a stupid freaking moron. I wish I could just tell her to F herself because she's such a pathetic deadbeat, and she's fat too, and she's out of shape, you know? For me to be so blunt about calling people fat is because they deserve it, okay? And for specific people, because not only that her husband is about to be on a deathbed of his poor physique and poor eating habits, she eats just like him too. But for her, that angers me so much. If you guys are so cheap, then why are you overweight? Shouldn't you be skinny, like starvation mode or something? And she's not that cheap, but her husband controls the finances, so she's like, let's go spend some money, but he won't allow that, you know? So he'll cheapskate any way that he can, even if it involves like stealing pretty much. So anyways, so then she's angry at him for doing the ice cream sampling and not ordering anything, and she's really embarrassed by it, you know? But she keeps claiming that she loves him no matter what. She's very crazy about him, that she's madly in love with him. They've been together forever, you know? But still, the way she is, she's actually promoting him to continue to being who he is and what is he doing, okay? For me, I really disrespected what he did because, number one, that ice cream shop not only had that older man taking the order of the free sampling, but he seemed to have had like a family to help, like a daughter, because there was a little girl in there that looked like she was about probably 8 to 11 years old. You know, these days it's hard to tell how old kids are because they look like they're teenagers when they're not, you know, when they're actually younger, but they look like teenagers or very grown. So anyways, this girl looked like she's about probably, like, I would say 8 to 11 years old, in that range, so she can speak, she can understand, you know. So it looks like she was helping her father with the ice cream shop, right? And so right there, instead of you worrying about all the free ice cream samples that you're getting, shouldn't it just trigger in your head with sympathy for the family that is trying to run a family business, an ice cream shop, and that little girl was probably his daughter or niece? You know what I mean? So it just should be like, you should be supportive of a business, not steal from them. So what he did pretty much was tricked the owner or the helper at the window, totally deceived him, acting like he needs to sample more to figure out which one he likes the most. And he should have been more like, you know what, I do see this child here, I should definitely support the business. You know, I know I'm cheap, but I need to support the business. But no, he walks off after 14 samples of ice cream. That ticks me off because really that upsets me so much because I was previously a business owner. I did the takeout restaurant, and plus I did bakery as well. And I'm a full-time mom now, so I no longer run the business. And with the struggling economy in 2013, it's still struggling. And knowing what I went through, it ticks me off when potential customers or even current customers constantly try to take advantage of business owners without realizing that they still have an overhead cost of paying a big rent for a commercial storefront. They have to pay for electricity, they have to pay for water, they have to pay for employees, they have to pay for the products that they're selling, okay? They still have to pay for everything. Everything. Not only pay for the business expenses, but also pay for their household expenses too, to support the whole family at home and support the business to keep running. And to see that man to go there and take advantage of that business owner after 14 ice cream samples in those little tiny Dixie cups, you know, and to go and walk off, okay, I'm full. He just says, okay, I'm full. He just walks off rudely. I'm just like, right there, it just made me come to a realization that I don't respect people like that at all. You can be a very savvy person. You could be a very down to the penny, accounting for everything on a spreadsheet and be very down to saving everything as you can imagine, even if you're a millionaire, okay? I can understand that and respect that, but when it comes to an extreme point where you take advantage of people, okay, regardless if they own a business or not, okay? And when people take advantage of situations, another thing that he did that was really gross, okay, before I forget, when that same man with the illness-looking body, with the inflammations with his body and all that crazy illness that he seems to have, when he does dumpster dives, taking food from the dumpster or whatever, and when he takes food from plates at restaurants, does he even think, or would you think that you can intake other people's illnesses by people digging into a plate of food with their forks, chopsticks, spoons, or anything, and they're drinking from their cups and stuff? You know, I mean, do you think that don't you think some people might have HIV? They could have weird viral infection. They could have gingivitis, where they're eating with a fork and some of their blood on their gingivitis gets onto that spoon or that food item that falls back into that plate over and over, and they're eating it. And don't you think that you can contract some sort of weird disease that you don't really know what you're getting? You know, it's like, obviously that man didn't care. He'll just eat anybody's food. When you dumpster dive, you're pretty much intaking food that have expired or people's leftovers that they don't want. And sometimes like local markets or, you know, outdoor food stands that dump out old expired food, you know, or people that eat and they just throw in the dumpsters. Don't you know that that's stuff that people don't want anymore? And if you dumpster dive, don't you ever think of improper food temperature that could airborne bacteria and you could get total food poisoning? Like, for example, this other episode where this woman had taken food from the dumpster and served it to her friends without letting them know that she got it from the dumpster. I'll get back to her in a moment. But anyways, so back to this disgusting, fat, overweight, pot-bellied, like inflamed skin with rashes all over his face, and he's just totally disgusting, okay? He looked like a really disgusting slob, to be honest, okay? And to do what he does just makes things worse. So, kind of lost track, but anyways, what else did he do? Okay, so another incident that he did was he went to the movie theater, right? He, you know, his wife wanted to be taken out, so, you know, spending money on a matinee was very difficult for him to do, to take himself and his wife out, even though he didn't want it, but he just wanted to make her happy, so he paid for a matinee, which was nice, you know. And then she kept telling, you know what, his wife is retarded too, okay? She knows how he is, what he's willing to do, an extreme to be a cheapskate and not pay for a penny for anything. So anyways, she told him once they sat down to the theater, honey, I want some popcorn and something to drink or some candy. And she's a fat slob too, by the way, okay? And then he said, okay, fine, I'll see what I can do. So then he went, and guess what he did? He dumpster dived inside the theater, okay? So he found someone else's old used, it looks like a Pepsi fountain soda, those disposable cups with the lids with the straw. He found that, and he found a popcorn bag, right? And that movie theater offered free refills for sodas and popcorn. So guess what he did? He went to the bathroom, rinsed out the cup and lid, you know, and then he cleaned out the popcorn bag, of course, and then he goes and takes it from the dumpster after he cleaned out whatever, and then he goes to the front register where they sold like popcorn, drinks, candy, whatever. So he said, oh, I'm back for my popcorn refill, and I'm here for my soda refill. And of course the young guy, looks like he's about 18 years old, and a young high school kid, very young kid, didn't care. He's an employee, he doesn't care. So he just go ahead and refilled it and refilled the popcorn and soda, and so he came back to his wife, look what I got you some fresh popcorn and some soda. And his wife knew what he's up to, doing some shady stuff like that, and she still didn't care. She still ate the popcorn, drank the soda. They're both very happy about it, you know. So number one, it's just like, okay, you're such a cheapskate, but at the same time, you're stealing from corporations. You're stealing from these companies that are running these franchise movie theaters, and you're stealing from them. Like, you're so cheap that you go to an extent that you steal behind the company's back, and you put that in a documentary, bragging about how happy you are, what you got out of it, you know? And it's funny, for their anniversary, he would like dumpster dive again. He got her some dead roses, and he just got her some really funny, goofy stuff that he got from the dumpster for her as a gift. Okay, fine. If you like used stuff, that's fine. You know, if you're willing to jump into the dumpster and find and climb in the dumpster, okay, that's your choice, you know? And but my point is, I find that their lifestyles are very contradicting. And it almost seems like they have this driven, like, ego challenge. They have this ego in them, like they're so challenging, like they get a thrill. There's so many people that were interviewed during this documentary, different episodes, so there's so many for me to talk about, you know. It's just to an extent where that, and by the way, before I forget, these people that were interviewed, they are not homeless people. They are not homeless. Some of these cheapskates have mansions. They have huge homes. Like, okay, they have huge homes. And some of them already paid off their home already. You know, and I'll jump into another person now. This other woman who lives by herself, no children, you know, no children, no spouse, and she's not even dating, okay? She lives by herself, so she just has to take care of herself. And so for her, she's an extreme cheapskate too. She's a CPA. She's a certified public accountant. And they do make decent money, okay? Certified public accountants do make decent money when they do get jobs in that field, okay? So, and this woman seemed to be a very intelligent, smart woman, you know? And it's just disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, what I found in common among the cheapskates is that none of them, most of them, or pretty much all of them, don't even buy toilet paper. So they'll find methods to save water and toilet paper. Like the woman is a certified public accountant. You should at least have a good career or something, you know? Even if you don't have a field job in like accounting, at least if you get a job. And by the way, her condo was already paid off and she lives by herself. So she had some money to pay off that condo, okay? And so she was so cheap that she doesn't use toilet paper. Okay, that's fine, that's your choice, okay? So she uses a water bottle to clean herself down there. And when she does the number 2, when she poops, which is totally gross, she doesn't use toilet paper once again. What she does, she uses the water bottle and she uses her finger to clean herself down there as she sprays the water on herself. Isn't that disgusting? Do you want someone like that to touch your food or cook you meals? Someone like that, I would never even befriend or have over my home because she'll be spreading her feces viruses all over my home. Crazy people. I'm sorry. I think cheapskate people to the extreme have gone too far that I find it just very detrimental to their health and to other people around them. Okay, so anyways, so this lady, okay, the CPA lady, she invited an old friend over who invited his girlfriend over as well just to meet her, okay? So she wanted to cook them dinner, okay? She told them over the phone that I'm gonna make you guys some dinner, so come over and hang out with me. So guess what was for dinner? She went, the day before, she went to dumpster dive, and before she left her home, she'll keep like raggedy clothes to make herself look homeless. I'm not kidding. This is a career-oriented, smart woman with a college degree, with a CPA certified, who's a certified public accountant, and not only that, she's licensed. She's licensed, okay? You don't just get a license for nothing. If you get a license, that means that you have a career in that field pretty much, okay? And then you're making good money, okay? So she's a licensed CPA. And so she'll wear this shirt that she's had for 12 years, and it has holes all over around the back area a lot, and it's torn. And she said she saves this as her dumpster dive t-shirt. So when people see her, they won't be staring at her so easily, because if they see her as a bum, then they'll just accept it and that just let her dig into the dumpster, you know? So she'll purposely wear raggedy clothes and go hunting for food in the garbage bins, okay? So anyways, she would like be so proud of it when she finds like food in the dumpster. She'll find like meat items. She'll find food items, sandwiches with meat in it and stuff. She'll find desserts in there that are old and stale. She'll find like raggedy veggies that are all spoiled and stuff, that are half spoiled, you know, or whatever. Well, anyways, what ticked me off about her was she said she was going to make dinner for her guests the next day, right? And guess what she had for dinner for them? She was so cheap that she had cut off the gas because the gas was charging her about $17 a month. And so she cut off all the gas off the home. So then she just used an electrical stove, okay? Fine with that, okay? And so she ended up, so by the way, she was so cheap that she's not willing to use air conditioning in the summer. When it's extremely hot, she's not willing to use air conditioning. That's fine. I know a lot of people who don't use air conditioning. Okay, that's fine. Okay, save money, right? And so, And so when she had her guests over, she would bring the food to the table, and they'll look inside that pot, and they'd be like, and she'll explain what's in it. Oh, here I have some, well, by the way, this separate bowl here, I have chicken fried rice, I have some chicken sandwich here, and some turkey something here, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you mix all your foods together in a pot? Okay, all right. So they gave the food a try. So her guy friend and the girlfriend tried the food, you know, and they're like, she's like, do you like it? And then the lady was who dumpster dived it. Do you like it? How does it taste? And they're like, okay, it seems kind of stale. It doesn't taste. It tastes kind of weird. Everything, you know. And then they said, well, try the fried rice then, chicken fried rice. And then they try the chicken fried rice, and they're like, well, it tastes pretty old and stale and dried up. I am just like, I got really upset at people like that, because if you're gonna dumpster dive, do you understand that food will spoil if it's not at the proper temperature? You know, because in order to open a restaurant or like a food business or any bakery business, you have to go get your sanitation certificate, which teaches you, and you have to pass, you know. I took a 2-day class where you come to class and the next day is the exam ready. They give you about 2 hours to finish it, you know, or 2 hours and 45 minutes. When I took my first one for the first time, I finished it in like, I think it was 30 minutes. No. I think I finished mine about 30 to 40 minutes. And they give you up to 2 hours and 45 minutes to finish it. It's just a 2-day class. You come to class, they give you your materials, the exam's the next morning. So it's a really time crunch. And by the way, I scored like a 92%. Yay! Yeah, I scored a 92. I think 91 or 92% I scored. So I got an A actually. A minus, whatever. Who cares? But I passed, right? So you learn so much about the rules and regulations of food safety, you know? And so when food are left out in the dumpster, there's no more, it's all in the danger zone of temperature, you know? It's like, for food safety, it either has to be chilled at 41 degrees or less, okay? And anything from 42 degrees up to, I'm sorry guys, I do know food temperature can go as low as 135, but to reheat certain food items, it has to be up to 165 degrees to reheat if you're gonna reuse the food to sell to the public, you know? It's just for food safety that the bacteria is killed and stuff, you know? So anyways, but don't forget, the rules and regulations do change, and they probably do vary from state to state, okay? So whatever I say from the state of Illinois, taking the exam in Chicago, that was my food safety. But like I said, okay, it's been a long time ago, so like I said, from 42 degrees up to 100 something degrees, that's like the danger zone. But I do know that 135 degrees is kind of okay for certain food items or something. But you know, anyways, it's been a long time since I took that exam. But anyways, having the food in the dumpster, you don't know how long that food's been dumped in there. You don't know it's been there for a day or less than a day, or even for 2 days it's been sitting there before the garbage truck comes to pick it up and toss it out, you know? So for you to even just serve that to your guests, you did not even put in consideration of the food poisoning, like the chicken fried rice. Chicken can start creating that salmonella bacteria on there, and then you serve it to your guests. You know, they could have been food poisoned. They could have been in the hospital. Would you even like put that into consideration? You know what I mean? And it just doesn't make sense to me, you know, giving your guests dumpster food. That's what it is, you know? And after they ate the food, and then the guy finally had the brains to ask, did you get this? Did you dumpster dive all this stuff? She admittingly said yes. It's like, she didn't really come out and tell them that. I think the guy was the one who actually had to ask her, did you like get this from the dumpster? And then she confessed and said yes. Shouldn't you have told your guests that, you know, I got this from the dumpster, I'm not willing to spend money, you know, but you don't have to eat it, you know? But you know what? But she totally deceived people. That's wrong, you know? Like, if you're such a cheapskate to a point that you deceive people, I find that so disrespectful. It's like when I have guests over, My guests are gonna expect me to have fresh produce, not spoiled food. They're gonna expect that I did not get the food from the garbage bin, you know, or that I'm stealing from Dominic's grocery store, breaking open those chain and locks and try to take out their expired foods, you know, or do something illegal like that. So it just doesn't make sense, like how far people go, you know. It's just silly. And so jumping to this other different lady now, just give more examples that sometimes it makes you think about things in your life too. So for me to share this is worth it. If you don't like to watch it, just turn off, watch a different video, or just go to another channel to watch something else. But I find this meaningful to explain this in detail, so it makes you think about your life and what you see in your life, and compared to certain people that go so extreme, okay? So another episode was about this lady, okay? Let me tell you right from the start, she is a millionaire, okay? She is a millionaire. Did you hear me? Yes. She's this blonde lady, a millionaire woman. She's 50 years old. To me, she looks older than 50 years old. She claims that she works out every day, but to me, she looks a lot older than 50. She looks like she's already 58 years old, okay? Anyway, she's a millionaire. She lives in this huge, huge house by herself, okay? And it's just so gross. It's like she refuses to flush her toilet, okay, because she wants to save water. Like I said, she's a millionaire, okay? She refuses to use water, so she never flushes her toilet, okay? She would urinate in a juice bottle, looks like, okay? And after it was like half full, she was showing the video guy who was videotaping her during the documentary, of course. She would open up the lid and she would sniff her urine and say, "Ooh, it's very pungent." I was so disgusted. Like, what woman would open up a bottle of urine, of her own urine, after she capped it for quite some time, and then she sniffs her urine? That right there shows that she is, I'm sorry, I think pretty much all of these people in this documentary are not all there in the head. I think there's some psychological disorder in their head, you know? Sorry, but that is true. They're like crazy people, okay? So she sniffs it. Oh, it was very pungent. She was not embarrassed. She was just very proud of it, you know? Okay, and she said, well, I refuse to flush my toilet, so what I do with it is that I water my garden with it, or my backyard with it. So she shows her bottled urine. She'll pour it all over her garden and on her grass and the bushes and stuff too. I hope she's not doing like a vegetable garden where she pours it all over her vegetable garden and then she intakes her urine or gives it to her guests without her guests knowing. That's disgusting. This lady is sickening, okay? So what else? She was such a cheapskate that she will unplug every electronic in the home and only plugs it in when she wants to use something, you know? Okay, fine, that's pretty smart to save money. And she's really obsessed with her spending that she'll create like a whole spreadsheet of all of her expenses, okay? It's almost like she's keeping account of all her expenses and what she's getting income in, okay? To make sure her expenses are always like less than what she's getting in, okay? So anyways, she is so obsessed with that she would check her electrical meter every day. She'll go outside and check her meter to see what her electricity is each day. She does it every single day. She'll check her electrical meter every day. Isn't that strange, you know? Okay, well, that's what makes her happy. And so, and it's, what else does she do? Okay, one thing that I totally don't really understand about her was weird. She's a millionaire. She lives in a mansion by herself. And guess what? In the documentary showed that her boyfriend was actually moving in with her. And it was weird because they even videotaped her boyfriend moving in that same day, and he was bringing in his stuff, right? And he was not as cheap as her, of course. He was just more like an average person that who likes his electronics. He wants to charge his cell phone. So he was, right when he came in, he started plugging in stuff, you know, and she did not like it. She was really upset, very anal about it. And he's like, well, I need to charge my cell phone. It's gonna die, I need it. So he started charging his cell phone into her outlet, and she didn't like that. He started bringing in his speaker system. Oh, she did not like that. And and the stuff that he brought in were mostly like electronics that needs outlets, you know? And she was getting really pissy. She was getting really upset at him, you know? It's like, why are you even upset with him? Shouldn't you have already laid out on the table between the two of you? And you both are grown adults, you know, in your 40s or 50s, whatever. Why is it such a surprise that he comes in with all these electronics, you know? Shouldn't you have already been like, okay, this is my home. I'm the control of this home. This is my home. Whatever comes in, I'll show you my average spending on the electricity. Any more than that, you're paying all your electricity. You know, to alleviate the stress that she was going through. She was getting really pissy. She was getting stressed out. And she was not even enjoying her time with her boyfriend. So it doesn't make sense. It contradicts her way of living. You're too cheap to begin with. You have no children. And you have a boyfriend that's going to move in. If you're so cheap, then why do you even have a relationship? Why do you even like have your boyfriend move in? Why don't he just move into a small home or a small studio or a small like apartment nearby so you guys could be with each other all the time as much as possible, but not live together, you know, so you don't have to fight about the bills and stuff. And it's funny because it ended where they were gonna try out and see how it works, you know. And so that was the end of the episode for them. So another one, oh yeah, this other family who had, I know Freddie had mentioned his documentary because he was doing a video about it, and I heard a little bit about it. I heard a little bit about what he was saying. So this other family, so this is like another new family I'm talking about now, okay? All right, so this family has, it's an older couple. Like this lady looks like she's already like in her 50s also. And she looks horrible. I'm sorry, a lot of these people in the documentary that were being interviewed, I'm sorry, they're just like really ugly, unattractive, gross looking people. It's like, it just, I know I'm so rude for saying that about people, but no, I'm serious. If you look at the way they were saying about certain things and the things they were doing could just drive you crazy. And they were just very unattractive people and just out of shape. Just very out of shape people, and most of them were like overweight, you know what I mean? And most of them don't even look like they even exercise, and most of them look like they don't even eat healthy at all. And they're supposed to be considered extreme cheapskate. If you're supposed to be like extreme cheapskate, shouldn't you be eating little as possible and pretty much starving yourself? But how can you be so cheap and be fat? How can you be so cheap and eat so much food? You know, if you're so cheap to buy food, it just doesn't make sense to me. They're very contradicting, you know what I mean? If these people can show me that they are such cheapskates and that they can still stay fit, eat very healthy, do things that are not illegal by like doing things around companies' back and like stealing their stuff, you know, like about what that man was doing about stealing the popcorn and soda, about asking for ice cream samples continuously, and then be like, okay, I'm full, I'm done, and then walks off and not buy any ice cream, you know. So anyways, okay, back to this family. So this man and woman look like they're in their 50s going towards their 60s, right? And they are both disgusting looking, by the way. And so this family had 10 children. I am not kidding. The oldest looked like he was about 15 to 16 years old. He's a very tall boy. Teenagers these days look like grown men and women already, but this kid looked like he's about 15, 16, very tall kid, okay? And her youngest child looked like he was about like 4 years old, about 4 years old. So she had 10 children at the ages from 4 years old up to 16, okay? And what was so upsetting and really sad in the video was she did admit to the fact that the more kids that she had, the cheaper that she got. Okay, that's fine. If you want to be cheap or frugal, whatever, then that's the way to at least save money. That's better than spending so much money where you lose money, okay? So it just went to an extreme end where like the daughter, for example, she wanted to go out with her friends and she didn't have anything to wear, and her closet was pretty much very empty. It looks like she was wearing a lot of boy clothes from her brothers or something, and It's fine to wear hand-me-down clothes or secondhand clothing or buy clothes from the thrift store. Totally awesome. That's fine as long as they don't have like full of holes and they're ripped up and they're really dirty and they can't be cleaned out, okay? But as long as they're decent, they're clean and presentable, that's no problem. That's totally awesome to do that, you know? And so anyways, her daughter is 13 years old, for example, okay? That was being shown during the documentary, and she just barely had any clothes in her closet, you know. She kept looking to what to wear, you know, and there was this one dress hanging up. It was a very like old-fashioned dress. She's 13 years old. That dress looked like it was made for like a seven-year-old child, and her mom made her wear that dress. It was a 7-year-old child clothing to put on a 13-year-old girl, okay? That was completely overboard. So her mom told her to wear that, you know? Anyways, her friend came and knocked on the door because her friend wanted to go shopping, so she wanted to go shopping too with her friend, and she asked her mom if she could go. And the mom said, well, no, wait, let me approve it. Let me see what you want to buy so I can decide, because I'm not going to spend more than $10. Okay, fine, whatever, you want to save money. So they went to go shopping at the thrift store, right? I love thrift stores. Totally fine, okay? So anyways, her daughter picked out several clothing, and her daughter wanted a couple items, you know, but then her mom said, no, you can only pick one. And then her mom only approved on getting her a $2 shirt, okay? It's like you're so like stuck on the money issue. It's almost like, why the F did you have 10 kids? You know what I mean? Why the hell would you give birth to 10 children and treat them like that? You know, and it's like the more kids you had, the cheaper that you got, which you did admit during the interview. Okay, understandable, right? But at the same time, it's just so devastating to me. I just felt so sorry for that teenager, you know? It's not to an extreme that she wanted like name brand clothing that was $50 or anything. It was just she only got like a $2 yellow shirt, and she just wanted more than that, a couple more shirts, but her mom wouldn't allow her. Just allowed her just to get her a $2 shirt, and that was it. You know, it's just a really sad situation. It's like, and the things they do are so contradicting. Also, it's just weird. But anyways, that same family of 10, this is what they do to scavenge for food, because they didn't want to buy food at the grocery store, and because they didn't want to spend any money. Guess what they did? The family of 10. They have this huge full-size van, like a very nice, clean, brand new looking full-size van, very functional van. Okay, you're a cheapskate, but then you own this huge, shiny, flawless full-size van. Okay, those full-size vans are total gas guzzlers. They use up a lot of gas. It's a high maintenance vehicle too. Oh my goodness. And you have to worry about mechanical breakdowns. You have to worry about like oil change. You have to worry about when your air conditioning coolant thing is like leaking. You have to repair that. Owning a vehicle is a lot of money. On top of that, you have to pay a lot of money for vehicle insurance, you know? And you have to get the license plate renewed every year. You have to get like a lot of stuff renewed. You know, it's a lot of money involved. So I don't really understand these people, you know. So you're so cheap, but you own a full-size van, and you have to pay for gas, maintain it. And this family of 10 lived like in a mansion or something. Like, they have a really big home. Like, I'm not talking like a small itty-bitty condominium home where it's like a 2-bedroom with 1 bathroom. They have a huge mansion, okay? If you're so cheap, then why do you have a mansion? If you're so cheap, why do you have such a big house? Because the bigger the house, the bigger the square footage of a home, the more property taxes you have to pay out. You know what I mean? And if you didn't buy your home, if you did rent your home, the bigger your rental home is, then the higher the rent you're gonna have to pay out. So this family of 10 have a huge mansion home. They have a huge full-size minivan, and oh my God, they live in they live like out in the country or something, it seems like, because they barely had any neighbors. They have like this huge acres of land around them. So they live like probably out in the boonies or out like in the country or something. So their activity for the day that they do every day, they drive around in that huge full-size van, and guess what they look for? They look for roadkill. Instead of going to the store to buy food or buy like their own meats or anything, they'll try to get food for free as much as possible. So they'll drive around looking for roadkill. You know, they found a fox, but it was just so dead for so long that it was all dried up, you know, so they couldn't take much from the fox. But then I think she wanted to take the tail because she wanted to make fur out of it or something, some ornamental fur out of it or something. But later on, as they were driving, they found like a roadkill, like a kind of like a fresh dead rabbit. And so they took the whole rabbit home. The wife used the skin and fur out of it as and made a purse later out of it to give as a gift to their guests later that would come over for lunch or dinner or whatever, or for like a lunch, it seems like. And then she used the rabbit feet as like good luck, little ornamental rabbit feet for good luck, you know, those furry feet. So she made those as little keychain ornaments out of that, and she used the leather skin out of it to make it into like a suede leather purse for her guests, you know. Anyways, that's what she does. She's very crafty and stuff. And so then, not only that they got the rabbit to make as dinner, okay, for their guests and for themselves as well, they wanted to make a salad, right? So guess where they got their salad? Instead of going to the grocery store or make your own garden where you can grow your own vegetables, you know, guess where they got their salad? It looks like they went off like the highway or off the street or highway area, because like I said, it looks like they live out in the country. So right off the roadway would be a lot of like tall grass or weed tall looking weeds, you know. And so for salad they had dandelions, which is a weed. They'll get these other long tall grassy looking stuff, and they made a bowl of salad made out of weeds. And I'm like, that's really disgusting, because weeds are very powerful plants that absorb all the nutrients from the soil, which eventually kills off all the other plants like vegetables or flowers or other trees. They'll kill other plants because they absorb so much nutrients that it overkills the soil, that the other plants will not have enough nutrients to survive. So for salad they had weeds, okay? And the funny thing is like, they were so cheap to have extra chairs, they made all their guests come over carrying their own chairs. It was funny because when the guests came in with their own chairs, they were like the big bulky chairs. They were not the slim type of folding chairs. It was so funny. And then when the guests showed up, they're like, "What's all this?" It's like, "Oh, take some. It's rabbit." And then they barely couldn't even eat it, you know. So it was pretty funny. It's just like, I just find that the cheapskates lifestyle is very contradicting of what they believe and what they do. It's very contradicting. You're so cheap, then why the hell did you have 10 kids? Okay, I can understand if you have 1, 2, or 3 kids, you know, but for you to have 10, yes, 1, 0, 10, which is 10 kids, that's a lot of mouths to feed, okay? And the mother of 10 kids, she was so ugly, she was out of shape, looked like she never even exercised, and she was just run down. I mean, it's just sad. And the father of 10 kids, he was chubby and overweight. He looks like hell. It's just like 2 disgusting, ugly parents raising 10 children, and you're such cheapskate that I just feel like the whole family is just malnourished, you know what I mean? And that they're just so mentally like malnourished that they're just going crazy, it seems. The children, I feel sorry for the kids, because they are the ones who are being brought into this world with these parents where they're so cheap that the kids don't get to indulge on like healthy foods, you know? Okay? They don't get to indulge on like fresh apples. They don't get to indulge in fresh oranges. They cannot indulge in a fresh, healthy salad. Okay? I'm not talking about indulging in unhealthy foods like fast food, or I'm not talking about eating French fries or fried chicken, or like what else, like heavy, greasy, oily food, or like fried egg rolls, or I'm not talking about restaurant food or unhealthy, you know what I mean? I'm talking about healthy stuff. So the family don't want to buy food at all. So they don't really get fresh produce like fruits and vegetables, you know? And so if you're not buying it for yourself to eat, then you're not going to buy it for your kids to eat that either. But instead, you go out there, off the streets, off the roadway, off the freeway, and you go get weeds to make a salad out of it and give it to your kids to eat. How shameful, how pathetic, you know? That's just like, that's what you call stupid parents that are just so like a little too far. If you want to intake that for yourself, okay, fine, you want to abuse yourself and kill yourself, okay? But if you have 10 children from the age of 4 years old up to 16 years old, you feeding them that crap? Are you serious? Not only your kids you feed them, you feed your guests that you invite over to come over to make the effort to come to your home, and you feed them a roadkill rabbit and a bowl of salad that's full of weeds. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with these people, you know? So for me, I have reasons to be upset at these people for what they're doing, you know? And what else that's really good? And what else? There's so many things. But anyways, this is just an example of